What up, YouTube? Big T.O. Heavy Bad Boxing TV, man. If you don't get your big goofy ass in here and hit the bag, hit that like button for your boy. That helps the channel. I appreciate that love. Big shout out to my gang, my bag hitters. Y'all know the count. Most definitely Tyrese Celestine, D1's Boxing, Sean and Don. Of course, Troy, Jack, Black, Jesus, my Aussie family, Mark Wynn, Sean Newchurch. Truly appreciate y'all. Now, Canelo Alvarez crawling back to the PBC. This is interesting too, and it appears it's being reported that he hitting another snag with these talks back with the PBC. But if you don't know what has transpired, of course it was reported that Canelo Alvarez parted ways with the PBC because they couldn't fulfill their end of the 3-fight deal. And that had a lot to do with paying Canelo Alvarez crazy $35 million for a Jermall Charlo fight. That is who Canelo picked and wanted to fight next. And the PBC was reluctant to do so because they didn't want to take a bath, meaning they didn't want to lose money on that fight. They are projecting that fight doesn't do the type of numbers to warrant the kind of money that Canelo Alvarez is demanding. It's as simple as that. Bottom line, it's not that the PBC doesn't have the money. It's none of that. It's trying to do good business at the end of the day for the PBC. So Canelo turns his attention over to across the street, Eddie Hearn and Matchroom. And here's the crazy part. Everybody kept saying, Eddie's got the money. Eddie'll do it. This, that, and the third. Eddie also reluctant to give Canelo Alvarez the kind of money that he's demanding for subpar opposition, right? They're not willing to give him $35 million for a Belanga fight, or I don't even think a Jaime Munguia fight. So this is what drew Canelo Alvarez attention back to the PBC. Listen, I'm just using logic here. And for me, it appears that both sides of the street, meaning Eddie Hearn and Al Haymon, both are more of a united front at this point when it comes to Canelo Alvarez. Neither willing to lose any money by giving Canelo the kind of money that he's commanding versus competition that most people don't deem to be 50-50. And that's the big part, because I'm not saying Canelo Alvarez isn't a draw. He's most definitely a draw, right? It's Canelo. That's a big time pay-per-view and a big time fight. But you got to have the right dance partners. That's always been the case for pay-per-view for the most part. Now, when you fast forward several years to the future now, there's a different climate in the sport of boxing when it comes to pay-per-views. And you have to have a really big fight in order for that fight to do well or to do really good numbers. And again, for Canelo Alvarez versus just Jermall Charlo or a Belanga or even a Jaime Munguia, these entities, both sides of the streets, Al Haymon and Eddie Hearn, listen, they doing the math. They doing the projections. They just don't believe that it's worth giving Canelo such a big guarantee, right? That's why there's been snags on both ends. And now that Canelo's back talking with the PBC, they're looking at a Jaime Munguia and then maybe a Jermall Charlo, or more than likely a Jermall Charlo in September. And maybe Canelo Alvarez potentially taking some sort of a pay cut. Because listen, if Canelo was commanding 20, maybe even 25 million for these fights, that's doable. That's leaving some wiggle room for these investors, these promoters, to make some money, right? At the end of the day, it's a business, and Canelo's got to understand that it's a business, and these guys are trying to flip a dollar here, right? And but again, for the right dancing partner, Canelo's worth every penny. But versus what you're trying to pick through now, versus what Canelo who he wants to fight, it's not worth it. He's got to go against somebody he doesn't want to fight, like a David Benavidez or a Dimitri Bivol rematch. Then you can warrant giving him that kind of money. I mean, you can understand him commanding big dollars for those fights because it's what the people are asking for. It's what's in demand, not these other fights. Unfortunately for Canelo Alvarez, that is just what it is. So now back talking with the PBC, they could very well go ahead and fulfill this 3-fight deal with Haymon and Jamal Charlo, just depending on what they can work out monetary wise with Canelo Alvarez, what he's willing to cut or how much he's willing to cut out to get these fights done. And this is the biggest reason why there hasn't been an announcement for his Cinco de Mayo fight, for his May 4th fight. It's this is the reason why. You're demanding more than what essentially what you're worth versus certain competition or opposition. But you guys let me know what you think in the comment section, man. That's all I got for this one. Big T.O. heavy bag. Talk to him, Roger.